Magavan Melanin. Today I'm going to look at one of our more interesting edible and useful plants in my area, plus one of its potentially dangerous lookalikes. So stay tuned. Okay, today we're going to take a look at California bay laurel. Its useful and edible properties. Now the California bay laurel, I want to say before we get into detail about what its useful properties are, I want to make sure we got the right plant. There's nothing more dangerous than getting a hold of a plant, eating it, and finding out it's poisonous. So let's go into detail about positive identification. Now notice the leaf is what we call lanceolate, simple and smooth margined. That means the general profile of the leaf is the shape of a spear point, and it doesn't branch out into too many pieces. There's only one single leaf coming out of the branch, and the edge of the leaf is smooth. Now, one thing I want to say, walking up to this plant, it's kind of obvious which plant it is because it smells. What I'm going to do is sacrifice one of these leaves. See, I've bruised it here. And I can bring this up to my nose, and what I'm going to get, a very spicy sort of aroma. There's no doubt about it, what I've got here. Again, the leaves are alternate. There's other plants that have leaves that look like this, but nothing really smells like this. It's very similar to the Mediterranean bay leaf, which is used for cooking. You might actually notice that in the supermarket for sale. You can, well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but yeah, this is a very similar scent. Okay, this grows in California. Let's see, we're getting ahead of ourselves again. The time of year, this is available, of course, is all year round. In the winter, you'll see berries, often called nuts, about marble size, growing from this tree. There's little white flowers in this late summer and spring. This is a sapling. Okay, this is a very small plant, so it's not going to produce any fruit right now. Just as a point of comparison. Anyway, the environment it's seen in is, I'm probably like 20 miles from the coast in California, all up and down the coast of California, especially in the north. This is a common forest plant. Got a little November wind blowing on this plant right now. Let's look at uses. You can cook with this, just like you do with the Mediterranean bay laurel. It's more intense than that Mediterranean bay laurel, so you want to use less. It was used by the ancient ones for many purposes, among them to prevent headaches, and if you're not using it correctly, it can cause headaches too. It's very pungent. So we're going to imagine different medicinal uses. One that's kind of interesting is that the ancient ones would have stuffed several of these leaves in their bedding to repel insects. And there is at least one actual scientific study that's proved that the aroma from this plant will kill or repel insects, especially fleas. So you're good to go with that. It's one of those rare instances where a folk tradition has been confirmed by science. Kind of fun. Now, the ancient Romans and Greeks used the Mediterranean bay laurel. They would weave wreaths and make sort of like wreathy crowns as like a symbol of, I think it's a symbol of triumph or something like that. So these are long branches. Sometimes people will harvest the long branches. This is a small, immature plant, so I'm not going to take anything from it. But you can harvest some branches and make a Christmas wreath with it, if you're of a mind to do that. It's kind of nice for that. And imagine you can make some camouflage just as easily. Again, this is the California bay laurel. I'm going to go on and look at another plant nearby that looks very much like it and is actually poisonous. So we're going to notice the differences. Okay, here's a plant that looks very much like the California bay laurel. And I can imagine somebody's seeing this video and going, "Oh, looks like I can grab some leaves and stick it in my stew and cook it up." The problem is, this is oleander. You can see like the fuchsia flowers. It's actually used as a ornamental. You see it in gardens and roadsides. This is in a sort of semi-wild area, so it's puzzling to see how it might have grown here. And we're going to look at the leaves here and see how you might be sort of mistaken. Here's the California bay laurel leaf, shiny on top. These are more narrow and they're not that shiny. They are, let's see now, as they come out of the branch, they seem to be opposite. See, there's there's two leaves coming out of either side of the branch at the same spot. That's kind of a major, I mean, plants don't vary like that. Either it's one or the other. So, also another thing, probably the most important thing is, you approach this plant, it doesn't smell spicy. You break off one of the leaves. You're not hit by its fragrance. It's a little bit, reminds me of a bitter peanut butter sense. And don't do it. It's poisonous. There's been cases of people actually mistaking this for California bay laurel and cooking with the leaves, and I don't know if people died, but it was darn close. And you have big purple flowers on it. That is not California bay laurel. The closest you'll get with a California bay laurel is really small white flowers, and they don't last very long. Easy to miss. So that's our little pointer here from I think we're at Coyote Creek here in the San Jose, California area. Down there is some carrizo. It's kind of a river cane related to Norfolk reed. Very useful, very invasive. I think this species is invasive. But anyway, that's a little primer into the world of the California bay laurel. Hope you enjoyed it.